What do you think when you hear the word spy? You immediately imagine gliding through lasers, a pen that shoots paralyzing darts, and soloing 10 bad guys with your bare hands in an elevator. Or perhaps infiltrating enemy territory, rising in ranks, and selling the information to your country. But is it true? So how to actually become a spy? Like how to apply, get the right skills, and so on. First, what a spy really is. In professional terms, a spy is almost always an intelligence officer employed by a government agency. Intelligence officers may manage sources who provide information, analyze data, or protect national security systems from cyber threats, but they still do some pretty cool things. There are several classifications of roles within intelligence work. Intelligence officers. These are generalists who collect, evaluate, and interpret information. They may work domestically or abroad in analysis, operations, or cybersecurity. Operations or case officers. These officers work with human sources, sometimes recruiting foreign nationals to provide information. They are closest to the Hollywood spy image. Technical or signals intelligence officers. They focus on electronic surveillance, data interception, and cyber operations. Analysts and policy advisors. These professionals evaluate intelligence and provide reports to government officials to inform policy and decision-making. It's also important to note the legal boundaries of espionage. Working for your country to protect national security is legal. Spying for another country on your own nation is considered treason and is punishable severely. But I guess by definition, the better a spy you are, the less of a problem it is. The application process. How you actually join. Unlike the dramatic recruitment scenes in films, joining an intelligence agency is highly structured and begins with a standard application process. Agencies worldwide openly post vacancies, which can be found on official websites such as the CIA, M16 United Kingdom, and NATO Intelligence. Applicants usually submit a detailed CV and cover letter highlighting academic credentials, language skills, work experience, and personal qualities. Once an application is submitted, candidates may go through several stages. Initial screening. They'll check your background for potential red flags including criminal history, unstable employment, and financial mismanagement, as well as checking finances, foreign contacts, travel history, and even social media activity. I know none of you passed this step, but keep watching on account of it's pretty cool to know, at least in theory. Testing. This stage can include analytical assessments, situational judgment tests, and writing exercises to measure problem solving and communication skills. Security clearance. If you plan on dealing with positions that deal with classified information, this step is extra important. The agency must be confident that you cannot be coerced or compromised, so they'll have to somehow check if you're trustworthy. So don't tell anyone any secrets, because they're always listening. Medical and psychological evaluation. You must be real sturdy. You'll have to not flinch at jump scares and not cry cutting an onion. They'll also make you murder little puppies to test if you're a real tough nut. Okay, none of that is true, but you will be tested for psychological stability and overall health. Real quick, consider subscribing. It doesn't cost you anything and it means a lot to me. Plus, you can always unsubscribe if you change your mind. Lie detector. Used by some agencies, like, you guessed it, the CIA, to verify honesty about criminal activity, drug use, foreign contacts, and loyalty. Final interviews. Scenario-based and behavioral interviews evaluate judgment, ethics, cultural awareness, and analytical skills. Anyway, this entire process can take anywhere from 6 months to over a year, so be patient and consistent throughout to maximize your chances. Any inconsistency, dishonesty, or red flag can result in immediate disqualification. Alright, so what spies actually do? Operations officers. This is the one you imagine when you think of spies, and it's as close as you'll get to the movies. Operations officers are the ones working with people on the ground. They infiltrate groups, disguise and get trust of certain people to get the information the government wants, and then they cold-heartedly betray them. But don't worry, these people are criminals. They don't deserve basic human decency. There aren't many car chases of Type 1 doing 10 armed guys out of commission, but more about trust, patience, and long-term strategy. Sometimes it's attending a high society events overseas, other times it's meeting quietly with a contact in the backstreet cafe. The mission is always the same: collect information without getting noticed and keep your sources safe. But of course, you can still shoot someone on the way out and claim it was in self-defense if you want. What are the feds gonna do? Well, first of all, you are the feds. And second, this was a highly secretive operation involving numerous serious, violent criminals. I'm sure you can come up with some story to calm the higher-ups. Just kidding, please don't kill people. Analysts. If operations officers are the field players, analysts are the brain trust. They take raw intel from reports, satellites, intercepted signals, or human sources and figure out what it all means. Analysts connect the dots. Is that sudden arms shipment a sign of conflict? Does a political shift abroad signal risk or opportunity? Their job isn't as testosterone and adrenaline-fueled, mustache-growing, and girls-throwing, but it's still pretty cool. A single, well-written analyst can shape foreign policy or military action. Most analysts work at desks, but they're not cut off from the real world. Sometimes they travel to collect context firsthand. Technical and cyber officers. In today's world, half the battlefield is online. Cyber officers are the ones who guard it. They track communications, intercept data, and protect critical systems. You can impress people by saying you're a hacker, so still pretty cool. It's not as flashy, but it's indispensable. Without them, operations collapse. They're the reason intelligence agencies can stay ahead in an era where wars can start with a keyboard. Support roles. Every great operation relies on the unsung heroes behind the curtain, or at least that's what people say to not crush their morale. Linguists, cultural specialists, and logistics staff keep everything running. Support roles don't always get the spotlight, but without them, nothing moves. Skills and how to develop them. Now that you know what the job looks like, the next question is, how do you get good enough to do them? Well, just so happens that they want some specific qualities. Discretion. The number one rule: keep secrets. If you overshare your life online, agencies notice. Get in the habit of controlling what you put out there and keep that mouth in your tongue. Analytical thinking. It's really important to break down messy, incomplete information into clear conclusions. You can train this by following global events, writing summaries of what's happening, or even practicing logic puzzles. Communication skills. Officers write more reports than they shoot fools. Writing clearly, speaking confidently, and briefing people under pressure is crucial. Want to practice? Join debates, take public speaking courses, or even just start summarizing complex articles in plain English. So basically just do AI's work yourself and you're good. Language proficiency. If you can speak Arabic, Mandarin, Russian, or Farsi fluently, basically problematic countries' languages, you're gold. See, agencies can't train everyone in every language, so if you bring that skill, you stand out immediately. Try to immerse yourself in the language, like living in the country whose language you're learning. That's the best way. Cyber and technical skills. Even if you don't plan to be a cyber officer, knowing your way around digital systems make you harder to fool. Learn the basics of coding, cybersecurity, and data analysis. Cultural awareness. The world doesn't run on your home country's customs. Officers who can navigate other cultures build trust faster and avoid dangerous mistakes. You can't fake this. It comes from travel, volunteering, and actually living in different environments. Stress management and resilience. This career tests your patience and your limits. You may deal with long hours or mentally draining situations. Building resilience through sports, prayer, martial arts, and take on as much responsibility as you can handle to forge your stress resilience. Relevant experience. While spies can be recruited directly from universities, relevant work experience strengthens applications. Military service, law enforcement, government or diplomatic work, and various relevant internships, training, and early career. Once recruited, candidates undergo training. This differs by agency, but often includes surveillance and counter-surveillance, source recruitment, reporting techniques, and cultural immersion. Training emphasizes both practical skills and psychological preparation. New officers rarely start with glamorous field assignments. Early roles often include analytical or administrative work, translation, or support for operations. Over time, successful officers may move into field roles, specializing in areas such as counterterrorism, cybersecurity, human intelligence, or regional analysis. Ever see a young James Bond? Exactly. I'm pretty sure James Bond, did his fair share as the receptionist, but ultimately prepared for lots of stress. Mentorship and networking. A pro tip is befriending veteran officers. They can serve as mentors, helping your young ass navigate the complexities of intelligence work. Performance metrics and evaluations. Spy performance is rarely measured by conventional metrics like sales or project deadlines. Instead, success is evaluated by how accurate and fast their intel is, how well they handle sources, how calm and discreet they stay under pressure, whether their work actually helps the bigger mission. High-performing officers may be considered for sensitive or high-impact assignments, including leadership roles in international operations or special units. The cool stuff. Work-life balance. Now the basic common sense part of the end. Intelligence careers, they often come with unique personal challenges. Deployments, covert assignments, and strict confidentiality rules can strain personal relationships, so try to maintain a disciplined lifestyle and support network. Anyway, hope you found this entertaining. Until next time.